gotta backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Ask me though how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give me something you can talk about.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine? Monday, October 6th. Didn't September just fly right on by? I have come to you yet again with yet more David updates. Now, as social media continues to make searches around social media, the cops aren't really giving us too much more information. I mean, like last week, they did kind of like confirm that David is still not a suspect. And it's like, okay, they're waiting for the medical examiner to, I guess, like come up with the cause of death. What I imagine is going on right now is they are running all of the different toxicology reports, which I don't know how in depth it goes. I don't know how much they do right there at their own lab, how much they have to send off elsewhere, all of that, et cetera, et cetera. So I do know, just for like a regular, everyday, average person who's not the middle like of a what I mean, I don't want to call it something disrespectful, but like, national media story. It can take anywhere from 3 weeks, 3 months, sometimes up to 9 months, sometimes more. But a lot of times when you start getting into that 6 months, 9 months, more range, it's usually because there was some type of anomaly, or perhaps somebody asked for a second opinion or something like that. Obviously, there's always exceptions to everything, but like the point is, there's a lot of time that usually has to pass before the toxicology report screening stuff is ready. So it only happened about a month ago, and we will get into actually, that's the first thing on the list here, so let's just get right into that. SF investigates. Steve Fisher, I think is his name. He popped up on my radar for the first time during the Emmanuel Harrow coverage that I was doing, and that case appears to be at a complete standstill. Thank you so much, Karina. Oh, wait, hold on. Carinza. Thank you so much, Carinza. Okay. Yeah, well, first of all, I've never gotten LabCorp results the same day. Personally, I went and did, that hair follicle test personally, and that took a while to come in. I think that took like 2 weeks or 7 days. I mean, it took a while to come in just for that. But also there's other stuff like that isn't just what LabCorp is doing, right? Like they have to actually find what killed her. And if the first round of stuff doesn't show things, there's different tests, there's different anatomical matter, biomatter, as it were, that gets run for different tests. So in the case where they're going to be actually investigating a possible murmur or even accidental no longer among the living, then I can imagine that they would be running quite extensive amount of tests. Okay. Thanks so much, Crystal. Love your jewelry, especially the rings. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Kobe. Okay. So look, this is that SF Investigates guy. And and here he is. He's talking about this exact topic, the amount of time it takes and everything like that. And he actually seems to have come up with some really helpful information. So I want to read that to y'all. That's the first link that I had for today. It says, I have been tracking cases at the medical examiner's office to better understand when the toxicology results for Celeste might be completed and how long it may take to finalize the autopsy. It appears that cases previously listed as deferred and now are showing cause and manner of death are currently around July 21st. So we could still be about 6 weeks away from the case closing with the medical examiner's office. Okay, so let's stop right there first. And this is his Twitter, SF Investigates. let's stop right there. On Celeste Rivas's death certificate, and if you go to the medical examiner's page right now, what it'll say is that her cause of death is, quote, deferred. It'll say deferred like this. But eventually it'll be updated, hopefully. Or, yeah, it will definitely be updated at some point, even if it's just to update to say unknown or whatever. Now, her cause of death is an extremely important factor in what would eventually be the trial, if any criminal convictions are going to be sought after. So if the cause of death were to, for example, be marked as a self-inflicted, SUI, et cetera, it will make it a lot more difficult to go after anyone for homicide. Do you see what I'm saying? So they can't really, and they shouldn't really rush this. We should all want the truth. I'm sure they could expedite Celeste, but then that's us asking for them to put celebrities above normal people. And I know Celeste was not a celebrity, and she is the victim in this case, but getting justice for Celeste would involve, investigating like these celebrities and stuff. And not everyone, but a lot of people do seem to believe that it's a celebrity or somebody in Hollywood, celebrity manager or something like that behind the situation. So I don't personally think that this should take precedence. I don't like that. Like, oh, it's a special high profile case, so let's make her go faster than like her family's not mourning or grieving any more than the next family. And I personally don't mind them making the case number make its way through the natural course without any special treatment. However, that would mean then for us as the public, and y'all are totally free to disagree with me, but for us, that would mean that if her timeline is going to be around the same timeline as anybody else that's going through there right now, according to Steve Fisher Investigates, he's narrowed it down to those deferred cases, turning over to solved or given a cause. The ones that are turning around right now, as of right now, are the ones that were logged July 21st. So when was Celeste's body found? Well, September, what was it, 8th? September 8th. So July 21st, if they're just, the ones from July 21st are just starting to clear right now, according to Steve Fisher, that would put us still about a month and a half away from knowing. So all of these news reports that are like, why hasn't any arrest been made on David, et cetera, et cetera. And then we've seen other news reports from the actual, cops saying we're not going to be giving anybody any. Okay, listen to this, y'all. In California, which is where this happened, and this is at a state level, from the time that the police arrest somebody to the time that they have to be indicted or charged formally is 3 days. The cops have already told us, and it is probably true, they cannot arrest somebody without knowing the cause of death, right? Whenever Celeste's cause of death comes out, it'll be whatever it is. Let's say it's homicide or whatever. Well, not cause of it, you know what I mean? Let's say it comes out that it was murder or whatever, like someone inflicted something upon her to cause her unalive, right? Then at that point, the cops will be able to say, all right, bet we have our 3 suspects that we've had behind the scenes. Again, I'm not really that bothered that they haven't released the names of any suspects to us. I'm not that bothered that they haven't said, oh yeah, David's a suspect, if he is, to us. Why? Because we already know how people act on Reddit and elsewhere. Second of all, we don't really need to know what the police think is a suspect for us to do our own investigation as the public, we the people, individually. And third of all, I think it actually messes the case up if the police are out here in a time specific. I'm being very specific, y'all. Please don't think I'm talking about another case outside of this one. Each one is separate. There are cases where I don't think this about it, okay? Because there's other things, other circumstances. So in this particular circumstance, in my opinion, which you're welcome to disagree with, in my opinion, I don't mind. Well, Betty, this is a good question. I do know the answer, or at least what they would say. How come they arrested Emmanuel Harrow's, Jake and what's her name, without the baby's body being found? That one involves caretakers of a minor. And in Emmanuel's case, that body was not found, but he was reported missing by a parent. The police started doing a missing baby investigation. And then in their investigation, they found probable cause to think, and whatever evidence they found, which they never let us in on. But when a baby is missing, an infant, which can by default for sure definitely not take care of itself, himself, herself. The law allows for a certain amount of presumptions, like the parents of that child should have been watching the child, right? Infant, one that can't run away, stuff like that. So that's why they were able to be arrested. In Emmanuel Harrow's case, the presumptive cause of death, and this is what the prosecutors have said, is extreme and prolonged or whatever. I'm not quoting. This isn't a quote. This isn't verbatim, but it's the gist, is that it was prolonged and repeated constant abuse, which ultimately led to the unaliving of the baby. Again, that case does appear to be at a standstill, and I have my criticisms with how they're handling it as well. So, the tweet goes on. He said, however, even though it could take 6 weeks before the case is closed or whatever, with the medical examiner's office, it's still open, could be for another 6 weeks if it goes by what's already the turnaround time right now. He said, however, there is coordination between detectives and the medical examiner, and they provide informal preliminary findings in cases. That means an arrest could happen sooner than 6 weeks. Whether that arrest involves a significant murder charge or just a misdemeanor related to concealment of a body is another question. He said, personally, I believe the reason it's been so quiet amongst those in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez and David friend group. Okay, so he is a missing persons investigator, just so y'all know. That's his job title. He's a private investigator, but he does missing persons investigation specifically. So he's really good at coming up with these different patterns and these different places to look for things. And he probably, because he does do this as his job, has different methods and ways that are like more in the professional route than me to get information. And he's done this as his job for a while, years at least. He is giving his opinion here. He's saying personally, he said, I believe the reason it's been so quiet amongst the friend group of David and amongst Celeste Rivas Hernandez's friend group is he thinks that they're all speaking with detectives and with the district attorney's office. So that's why they're not coming out and saying public statements, because maybe they've been advised not to. Maybe they have lawyers, who knows? But he's saying he thinks they're all talking to the cops or the district attorney's office and the cops. He said, my personal opinion is that we will see an arrest based on a confession. His personal opinion is we will see an arrest based on a confession within the next week to 10 days. Okay. He said, keep in mind that once someone is arrested, authorities only have 3 days to arraign them with formal charges. So they will not make an arrest until they have enough evidence to hold the person through a probable cause hearing or a grand jury indictment. I also think there will be a significant, okay, look, he's got two kind of like interesting little, oh, I just so happen to think, okay, all right, I'm going to take heed. I'm going to take notice. What does it say? My personal opinion is we are going to see an arrest based on a confession. He said this within the next week to 10 days. He tweeted this a few hours ago today. His other little speculation right at the end, the last sentence is, I also think there's going to be a significant twist in the story that will be disclosed when the arrest happens. And is it going to be that David himself was groomed in the Discord and he's in 764, something of the sort? I am wondering. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to read that to y'all. Shout out to Steve at Fisher Investigates. Now, I wanted to remind you, we're going to move to the next topic. I wanted to remind you, oh, let me hide this distracting item. Okay, thank you. I wanted to remind you about this funeral date set for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This article was published by Fox LA, a Fox News affiliate in Los Angeles, September 25th, 2025. So this was quite a while back now. I mean, at least definitely over a week ago. And it said that her funeral was set. The date was set for October 4th. Well, that would have been Saturday. Well, come to find out, maybe no funeral did happen. Again, another SF Investigates tweet. He says, it appears the service, and this was 2 days ago, on the day it was supposed to be, SF Investigates tweeted. He said, it appears the service for Celeste is not today. The funeral home does not show anything scheduled. It doesn't show one scheduled either. Hopefully it's tomorrow. The date on GoFundMe appears to be changed until tomorrow. Okay, so he went to the GoFundMe. And okay, so the service was changed to October 5th. Okay, interesting. All right. He said, I really hope these generous funds are being used to give her a beautiful service that she deserves. I just noticed that after the money was raised, the title of the GoFundMe changed from Help Lay Celeste Rivas Hernandez to Rest. Okay, so the title changed. That was the original title of the fundraiser, Help Lay Celeste to Rest. Now it says, Help Celeste Rivas Hernandez's family. I hope this girl isn't failed again, he said. People donated to lay her to rest. Please use all the funds for that. Start a separate GoFundMe for family assistance. I'm still trusting they're doing the right thing in their daughter's name. Okay, so if you read between the lines, what it looks like could be being speculated here, thought about here, is did the funeral just not happen at all? Look at the title of the GoFundMe was apparently allegedly used to be Help Lay Her to Rest. Now it says Help Her Family. Look, Help Lay Celeste Rivas Hernandez to Rest. That is what it had said. That is true. And they went over the goal. Now it says Help Celeste Rivas Hernandez's family. Oh, it gave me a sick feeling. So he tweeted this the day before. He said, according to the GoFundMe, Celeste's funeral service is tomorrow. He tweeted this on the 3rd. It's touching to see how the public stepped up and helped meet the $25,000 donation goal for her funeral. That money will provide for a very, very beautiful service that Celeste deserves. I can't imagine the month or possibly months she spent crammed into the frunk of the Tesla treated like literal garbage by whoever put her there. How kind of all those donors to ensure she receives a dignified and memorable farewell. I did notice that the donor list did not include David, Interscope Records, Josh, or other notable people who were around her. I suppose it's too late in the game to expect a little class. Oh, he's sassy. He said, my thoughts are with Celeste's family. And will be Celeste, her family, and everyone who loves her tomorrow. Okay, so now it surely does say help her family. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So is it grifting? Is the family being investigated? These are things I wonder. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, the next link I wanted to show y'all. Apparently, allegedly, according to the Reddit, David has been back online. He has been on Discord. Now, why do they think this? Let me see. I didn't even watch it. Let me see. All right, owner. What are we clicking here? Click. David, one mutual server. I don't get it. Okay, or can they explain it more? Why does he allow himself to be seen as online? On Discord, you can make yourself invisible. Narcissism, somebody said. Maybe it isn't him. Didn't the LAPD take the laptop from the house? Oh, true. Oh my God, stop. What if the LAPD went got on there and it showed he was online because they were logged in? Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, so it looks like the reason they're saying that is because like it shows that he was online at that moment that this person screen recorded. I am completely unfamiliar with Discord, so I did just want to show that to y'all. If that means something to somebody else, great. But look at this weird thing that I saw today. It might just be, like an oversight, but girl, read the freaking room. Or also maybe they're like, innocent till proven guilty. Cause look, you know how David's been losing like all these collaborations and sponsorships, and he was doing the Hollister with the Hollister with the Crocs. Then he was doing the and that got canceled. Then the girl that was going to be using his song for her figure skating routine, she's not using the song anymore. The world tour got canceled. People are pulling the plug until pending further investigation or whatever, right? Well, not Fortnite. Not Fortnite. They're moving right. They're doing innocent until proven guilty, I guess, over there, because I came across this tweet earlier today, this morning. This person said, at Fortnite, when are you taking this down? Or are you a David defender? Kind of weird. This is the first thing I see when I open the official Fortnite YouTube channel. And what you can see here is David and Fortnite collaboration music video where he has this animated character playing him, or he's playing whatever. Anyway, that's supposed to be him, and it's on their front page under the collaborations. And I'm like, okay, well, that would come as a surprise to me because everybody else seems to be jumping ship when it comes to David, but I guess apparently not Fortnite on the YouTube channel. Now, I did go and find, I thought I had the link here. I do not have the link, but I'm going to just try and see if I can pull it up here. Yeah. Okay. So it is still, girl. No. Okay. Here is the YouTube page for Fortnite. This is the official Fortnite checkmark, 13 million subscribers. It's a game, free multiplayer game where you compete in battle royale, collaborate to create your private island and creative or quest and save the world. So this is how David really got his start, was on Fortnite. He wanted to be a Fortnite, like a video gamer, live streamer that did video game stuff. The only reason he started doing this music stuff was because he um kept getting copyright struck and all of that. So it still is right here. Look, David, locked and loaded, official Fortnite anthem. I am not going to play it because copyright and all that. I don't know if it's copyrighted, but it was just put up a month ago. Was this put up right before all this went down? Wow. Because see, for me, like, this is huge because this is so full circle. He started out playing Fortnite as one of the first people that ever played Fortnite, he said. He said he was one of the first people in the world who ever played Fortnite. And then he started to become bigger and bigger on Fortnite. He started to make YouTube videos. They started going viral because he was using viral songs. But then, boom, out of nowhere, copyright strike, copyright strike, copyright strike. And it was UMG. UMG did the copyright striking. And he was so upset. And he ran to his mom. This is the David lore. And he's like, "When, mom, when?" He's crying. And he's like, "Does I keep getting copyright struck?" And she was like on the phone or like doing something. She was not trying to talk to him. And she was like, "Why don't you just make your own music? Like, I've been trying to tell you to make your own music anyway, so why don't you just do it?" Oh, my hair is stuck in this clasp. And so he's like, yeah, great idea. So he starts making music and then he starts releasing the music. I hate this, aggravating. He starts releasing the music as Alvin and the Chipmunk. Like, he's got like that high pitched voice and he's also doing covers of like viral songs as Alvin and the Chipmunk too. So he does that. That goes viral too. And then he's like, if this does really good, then I will release the original without the Chipmunk voice. And then he starts doing that. That goes viral. Within months of those going viral, he was being asked by record labels to sign with them, and he does indeed sign with a record label at some point, and he ends up at Interscope, which is a UMG label. Okay, so the whole thing started on Fortnite, right? So you could imagine September 3rd, right before his tour was about to kick off, or right, so, excuse me, his tour had already kicked off. He was in the middle of his first tour ever. He just released his first album this year in April, or March or April, which would have been about a year anniversary since Celeste went missing, supposedly that one time out of 11 or whatever, 4 or whatever. But you could see how September 3rd, the official locked and loaded Fortnite anthem 2025 by David, when he, this has to be such a full circle moment for him. It probably meant a lot, for as far as things go or whatever. But then 3 days later, that car would be towed. And just 2 days after that, the body would be found. And just 10 or so days, 9 days or so after that, maybe a week, maybe 2, it would be identified that the body, or it would be publicized that the body was identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So this is he was very excited about it. He did interviews about it and stuff like that. I can't bump it. They will, I don't want to get copyright struck or claimed or whatever. So anyway, they still do on Fortnite. They still do have that on the front page. I personally don't really care. Like, I'm not going to hold it against companies that don't, like, I'm not going to say, oh, they shouldn't, like, Hollister and Crocs and them, how they were like, we don't really want that association or whatever. Like, I'm not going to hold it against them. But at the same time, like, it is innocent until proven guilty. And like, the thing about Celeste is too, that like, I just want y'all to remember. And I specifically think this is also going to be David's defense. It's just a hunch that she had such a bad, and you can also get some of these ideas from exactly the like TMZ. Like, you can see like where you think maybe the PR is pushing one way or another, narratives are pushing one way or another. I think David's gonna maybe, if he has to defend himself, if he's ever in a position where he has to defend himself, I think he would say that he was providing a much safer home for her than what she was living in. She, I would assume he would say she was being abused by her family. And, David had very little experience. He had never had a girlfriend. I wouldn't be surprised if he was completely inexperienced, period. With relations of sorts. And he's going to, and it's listen, please, y'all. I am not saying I think it's okay. I just, every time I talk about this topic, I have to say it over and over. But I think if he did those things, meaning like any type of romantic, flirtatious relationship with her at all, it's just simply an unforgivable situation because he at some point was an adult after he turned of age for sure. I'm not going to give too much leniency for a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old if that was going on, but I wasn't there. Okay. And they also have a lot of lawyers out here that are getting very, very cease and desist happy. All right. I personally am trying to stop getting in lawsuits. So I have to give these disclaimers. I can't be out here like I'm a Reddit commenter. Okay. Like I have to be responsible and very careful. And I am. Okay. But I'm just letting y'all know when I'm making these disclaimers and stuff, it's not me trying to defend David, although in some ways it kind of is, because the truth is we really don't know because we weren't there. That is the truth. And the truth is that, I'll say, in my opinion, it appears like there was some type of not appropriate relationship going on between David and Celeste. It appears based on, the context of talking about Epstein, this and that, and the live stream and, things like that. That appears to me to be unacceptable. But what somebody's going to come out tomorrow and say that was Celeste's first cousin who was, 22 in that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like it's Celeste. It looks like that's what's going on. But how do we know it's not AI? How do we know we're not all just being duped to put David on the map? I mean, these are things that I have to consider. And I would be, I think, like not being fully honest if I didn't at least mention them as they come up to my mind. If he was doing that stuff with her, that's nasty and he ought to face criminal consequences. If he was harboring a minor, even if he thought in his mind, okay, I'm safer for her than this place down the street or than the group home or whatever, he could have even been right. He could have been right and he could have been doing it in good faith, but you can do a crime in good faith. You can do a crime in good faith. And, maybe if he wasn't famous or something, it could have ended up turning out different, but this is how it ended up turning out. So you do have to be aware of your liabilities, especially once you're 20 and she's 15. It's 15 will get you 20, Now, am I saying that's actually what he was thinking? No, of course not. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I think, in my opinion, he probably knows what happened to Celeste. I'm open to the possibility that he did it. If he did, it doesn't seem likely that he could have done it by himself, but you know what? Maybe he did. I certainly wasn't there. I wasn't there. Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Somebody made a website called D4VDfiles.com. Very interesting, I don't know, like different. Like I haven't seen anything put together like this before. So you can click on these, they're like interactive. There's pictures. If you hover over them, and if they're color pictures, then they'll become colorized. When you land on the first part of the page, see, this is like the Tesla ticket. This is cool. This is really cool. I love a web. I love a map. Okay. Now I love a timeline. I love a web. I love a map. I love a timeline. This is great. So they start here. They go from this one right here, abandoned Tesla. David says Tesla was abandoned, subsequently impounded at a Hollywood impound lot. The impound lot apparently called the police due to a foul odor emanating from the vehicle. Deceased found. The Tesla was then towed. It was ended up being identified as a 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. They search his home, Hollywood Hills, on September 18th. The next days is whenever the tour dates start to be pulled, canceled, and the team says he is cooperating with authorities. Then there's the Reddit moderation controversy. David moderation controversy and resurfaced alter ego clip circulates. Celeste remains are released September 24th, 25th. A memorial is planned for October 4th, which was this past Saturday. September 27th, David breaks his lease out of the Hollywood Hills home. Then this says tampering with potential evidence. I do not think this key has anything to do with David or Celeste. I'm glad the guy turned it in just in case. I personally am not going to be spreading the, I don't think this key has anything to do with David and Celeste. And if it does, I will stand corrected. Like I said, I'm very happy he went turn it in. I don't think this was tampering with evidence. I do not think that this is David's key. And if it is, then I'm very suspicious of this random Redditor. Something is amiss if it's really somehow related. It's very, very strange that this random Redditor would be. I just, something about the whole this right here is just, okay. September 29th, they need to update this. If the person who's in charge of this website ever finds their way to my videos, this is such a cool website. Love it. Thank you so much for making this. It would be helpful if you moved this September 29th article up to the actual date where it happened. Like David's abandoned Tesla was ticketed, but when? 11 days before the body was found. So you should put that up at the top of the timeline, because now it's like you're having to keep it in your mind. Like move that up, because the date that the articles come out is not as important as the date things happened. You see what I mean? Okay, thank you. Okay, October 4th, this is Saturday. The police come out and yet again confirm that David is not a suspect in this case as of yet. And again, I think that has to do with the fact that you can't have a suspect if you don't have a murmur. They need to technically have a murmur. You know how everything in the law operates on these technicallys and these legal distinctions, what's a vulnerable victim? It ain't just what you and me think, oh, someone's vulnerable. Nope. You have to meet certain things. So in this specific case, who's a suspect versus who's a person of interest. This is the third time this has come up, y'all. This is patterns. Remember the Charlie Kirk case, whenever they were trying to chase down as possible suspect and all of that. And Kash Patel tweeted that they had a suspect in custody, but really it was just a person of interest. And then the person wasn't in custody. And then again, with the Emmanuel Harrow case, they had said that he had confessed, but it wasn't confessed. It was admitted, but it wasn't admitted. It was told. And it's like, no, we don't have a confession. And it's like, okay. Confession isn't the same as admission, isn't the same as told. So maybe he told someone but didn't confess. You know what I mean? So maybe David's not a suspect because there's not a homicide. Do you see what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Put a 1 in the chat if yes. More little evidence comes up. Bracelets. Picture was posted on Instagram with some pink bracelets. Could have been hers, could have not. Yeah, all of this stuff needs to be put in a timeline. This is not a good timeline. So it needs some rearranging, because this is this didn't happen in September. This happened way before Celeste passed away. David's mom, first public sighting. Okay, so we'll revisit this website once they clean it up a little bit. The timeline's kind of confusing, and I don't want to confuse anybody any further than it's already confusing out here. Okay, so let's move to the next thing. Right. So this is just a reminder for timeline purposes that It was reported on September 27th that David broke his lease. September 27th, the LA Times is reporting singer David broke lease and moved out of Hollywood Hills home after it was searched in the death. So that was September 27th. He moved out. Well, now TMZ was reporting over the weekend. Or I guess Friday, cleanup crew goes full sweep at Hollywood Hills rental. The landlord of the Hollywood Hills home where David was staying is distancing himself from the singer amid the fallout over teen Celeste Rivas's death. So here's I think this is the garage. All this junk was in here, so they couldn't park the Tesla in there, I guess. TMZ has obtained pictures showing a trash crew hauling a bunch of stuff out of the Hollywood Hills house David had been staying in. Owner Malden Trifunovic tells us someone came by the property last week to take the remainder of David's stuff. Some items were left behind, and he's now throwing that stuff out to get the house ready for the next renter. You can see the crew tossing out a ton of bags and clothes and boxes, basically scrubbing the place clean of anything tied to David. Hope they got their search done then. Setting aside all the media drama with David, Malden's clearly eager. So Malden is Trifunovic. Trifunovic is eager to get a tenant in there, especially with that $20,000 a month rent. As TMZ previously reported, Celeste's body was found, quote, chopped up. Okay, TMZ is still reporting this. In David's Tesla, decomposing, it had been abandoned near the Hollywood Hills home and towed before her remains were discovered in the front trunk of the Tesla. Cops have been scouring the area for video that could ID the driver and potentially crack the case. But so far, no luck. Then they put out another article, but this one's more like a photo gallery. They have 6 pictures. Here's one. Got just a bunch of junk, clothes rack type things, monitor stand, roses, red roses, a bicycle up on the wall nobody ever uses clearly, Amazon box, suspension rod, ladder, drawers. Okay, here's the second picture. It is a red, I won't show the license plate, a red truck with some type of red bag. I would recognize these heavy duty contractor bags from Home Depot anywhere. Like a sleeping bag or something, bean bag. It's like a dumpster. It's like a big dually truck with a trailer, like a dumpster trailer on the back. Okay, so then now, yeah, I know y'all saw roses. Oh, that's a person? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back. It is? Oh, I see. All right, I gotcha. I see. Yes, this is a person. Amendment. This is somebody in there putting something in there. See how it's like their back? This M thing right here. I just thought it was like a bundled up red thing. I see. This is the arm. Got it. This was the next picture. A repeat of that first one, maybe closer. And he's got some propane here. Propane tank of some type of tank. I guess it could be something else. Trying to see if I see anything I missed. No, it's just run-of-the-mill garage things. It's the front of the house. Boxes, maybe some books, little boxes. I don't know what this stuff is. What is this? Is this like a metal box or? Huh. What's that? Okay. Oh, it's an ad. Okay. So that's that. Getting rid of bags and boxes. I guess the cops already got everything they needed. I do see how they need the medical examiner. I was watching Bruce Rivers. Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, who's probably my uncle or my cousin or something. He was saying that this reminded him of the Casey Anthony case. Do y'all remember the Casey Anthony case? Um, the same situation. It was like they found the remains in a bag or like wrapped up nearby to Casey Anthony's house, but they didn't have anything where they could say for sure, like, she did it, it's her, or, they needed the coroner to come, the medical examiner to say certain things. He was like, this reminds him of that case. And he said in that case, they did eventually charge her and all of that. But it just took time because they had to get the medical examiner to actually rule it something, this, that, the other. But that one was an infant. I think, maybe in a different state. I did not watch or follow that case or keep up with that case. Thanks so much to Paul for the £4.99 super chat. Sorry I'm late. I'll catch up. Shout out to the UK cousins in the chat. Thanks so much, beautiful Messy Ball, member for 12 months. Fortnite is also a Roblox game. Is that true? You have to go on Roblox to play Fortnite? Is that true? No. That's interesting. Well, I got y'all going over there to Gangland Neem, our new cousin that we have, and tell him I sent you, to tell him shout out, and I have to work a half day today because I have to go somewhere later. So that's all I really have for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, neither are opinions. Tell Neem I said hello. Love you, Mina K. Bye.